You okay? Thanks, Kaylin. All right. All right. Before we get started, just wanted to know if there were any questions. Are there any questions? All right. Just want to remind you guys, please, 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 most of you know this, but please do not leave the live session before you do your participation question. You cannot get attendance. Hopefully by week 3 we know this, but you cannot get attendance unless you do your participation question, even if you come to the live session. So I want to make sure everyone understands that. So after you go to the live session, you're going to be giving your participation question. Please do the participation question before you log off. I really hate to see those of us that are showing up to the live session, but then you don't do the participation question. You don't get participation points and you don't get attendance. Do we understand? I want to make sure everyone understands that. And you can't go back. Participation is the only thing, participation is the only thing that you cannot go back and get credit for the next day. Discussion posts, you cannot go back from the previous week and get credit for. So I really want us to make sure that we understand that. If you have an assignment that you need turned in from week 2, because we're in week 3, I always give a grace period 1 week. So if you have any week 2 assignments that you need to turn in, please let me know. Just send me a quick text, quick email saying, hey, Miss Taylor, can you open this up? Can you open up? It's probably already open because I probably opened it for someone else. So check first and just let me know. You have until Sunday. After Sunday, you cannot turn anything in from week 2. So please make sure that you're getting that taken care of, okay? All right. So yesterday we were in chapter 4 and we talked about an online presence. If you recall, we said that, unfortunately or fortunately, whether you like it or not, at some point you're going to need an online presence in order to be competitive with your other peers. Maybe not in your first job, maybe not even in your second job. But as you move up the career ladder, I can't think of any company or senior manager that does not have an online presence, right? Can you imagine a CEO, an executive that you can't find anywhere online? Would that not be weird? So it's the same for you. If you're going to get in any type of leadership, which I'm assuming you are, most people don't just sit at one position for 10 years outside of my brother because he does, but he's a very special person. Most of us will want to move up the career ladder. So that online presence is going to be important. We also touched on networking. And chapter 5 is going to dig into it a little bit more. We asked ourselves, one, how critical is an online presence? What platforms are we currently using? We discussed that, there's different platforms that do different things. And today we're going to just dig into it a little bit more. Most of it we introduced yesterday. But before we get started, I have a question for you. And give me a quick thumbs up or thumbs down. Give me a thumbs up, not thumbs down, but give me a thumbs up if you think that 50% or less of people get their job from networking. Up to 50% of people get their job from networking. That means that somebody that you know hooked you up with a job or somebody that knows someone, 50% or less. Okay, I think I saw like 3. Give me a thumbs up if you think it's more than 50% of people get their jobs from networking. more than 50%. Mhm. So, statistically speaking, it says that 70% of people, 70% of jobs that are out there are filled from networking. What does that mean? That means that for the most part, you never even see the opening of jobs because most companies, if they can get referrals, why would they post the job? It costs money to post jobs in most instances, right? Even with Indeed and LinkedIn, if you're an employer, they charge you to do that, right? The only thing that's free is my website. So if I get referrals, right? I have people at my company and they give me some referrals or I know someone and I can fill that position. Why would I even need to advertise for it? So what does that mean? That means that maybe 30%, maybe a little bit more of jobs that you see on Indeed and LinkedIn don't even represent the number of jobs that were out there because those jobs got filled through networking. Now, for some of us, it's like, oh my God, right? So if you watch the news, you may hear them say, there's a lot of people that are employed. And then you hear other people say, but I can't find a job. Anybody feel like it's very difficult finding the job through those platforms? People will say, oh, I've submitted 50 applications, 100 applications, right? Well, it makes sense if it only represents 30% of the jobs that were available. And look at how many people are after those 30% of the jobs because 70% of them were already filled by people that they knew. So you may say, wow, that's very deflating, right? But what if I tell you networking is very, very simple? It is as simple as you know someone that knows someone that knows someone, right? If you needed your car fixed and you asked a friend or a relative, oh, I need to get my car fixed, yada, yada, yada. And they say, oh, I know someone. You should go see so and so. They're really good mechanics. What's the likelihood that you would go see so and so? Pretty high. Do you know so and so? No, but he was referred by your cousin or your friend. They gave him some credibility and you're going to go see him. That's networking. You don't have to know him. Y'all don't have to be best friends, right? But if you get a referral, most people will use it. Is that not the case? It's the same thing that happens with hiring managers. I could tell you personally, as someone that has hired quite a few people throughout my career, if one of my coworkers or somebody that works for me says, "Hey, I have someone that you should look at, they're really good." I'm going to be like, "Okay, send me their resume." I would rather hire someone, you know, through a referral or, not have to go through the vetting process of putting it out on Indeed and getting 200 resumes, maybe 50 of them are actually eligible, than having to call these people, set up meetings, go through that whole rigmarole only to see maybe 3 of them are actually qualified. That's very time consuming. So, of course, I'm going to cut down on time if I can just get a referral of someone say they know someone. Does that make sense? So, what do you need to do? So, it behooves you to network. Even if it's as simple as someone knows you're in the welding field, someone knows you're in the HVAC field, they know that you are in the electrical field, in the VA field. Hey, you know, so and so, Sarah, just started that job down at the VA pet clinic. I know you said that you wanted to, get your pet, spayed, neutered, or whatever they do. Uh, you should go see her. Who would not do that? Now, if no one knew that Sarah worked at the pet hospital, then maybe they wouldn't be able to do a referral. Does that not make sense? Think about it. If you guys are all on LinkedIn, and all of you guys connect with each other, which I am going to insist that you do. And give me a thumbs up if you're in the VA program. Give me a thumbs up if you're in the VA program, really quickly. Anybody here? Okay. So we see, who was that? We got, oh, quite a few. I see KN, KM. So we got Kaylin, Kelsey. I don't know if I saw anyone else. So you guys, let's just say you guys all linked up on LinkedIn. You know, Kaylin and Kelsey are in a VA program. You know, they like things that you post. They post stuff. You see what they're doing. I'm talking about LinkedIn, or it could be social. It could be Instagram too. And you have a friend that just got a new puppy, and you know Kaylin's veterinary clinic is nearby. What are the chances of you saying, "Hey, you should go see Kaylin"? Very high. Give me a thumbs up if that would not be high, right? Do you know Kaylin personally? Not really. You knew her from, the course. She did a couple of likes on your page, and that's what you know. But people like to give referrals, do we not? Networking is so important. Don't take it from me, take it from the statistics. So, another stat says that 87% of recruiters and hiring managers use LinkedIn to find job candidates. Yes, that's good. That's very, very important. So, what does that mean? That means of the people that they could not find, where are they going to turn to? LinkedIn. LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very popular right now. There's not there's I don't there's trying to be some competition. There's Job Hire and some other ones, Indeed, if you count that as a competitor, but it's not similar to LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is where you have your portfolio. So where do they go? They go to LinkedIn. Has anyone who's on LinkedIn again? I can't remember if I asked this question yesterday. Give me a thumbs up if you're on LinkedIn. Good. I see a few of us are already on LinkedIn. I don't know about those of us that are on LinkedIn, but I know for me, I get recruiters hitting me up all the time. Now, yeah, I've been in my career for a bit, but they hit me up all the time. I may not like what they have to say, and I'm like, no, that's not for me. But I get referrals from LinkedIn. They get sent to my email. Hey, are you interested in this job? Are you interested in that job? And I'm like, no, no, thank you. But I do get recruiters that hit me up from LinkedIn. I get a few that hit me up from Indeed. I wish they would get the job titles right, but that's okay. So what does that mean? That means, closed mouth does not get fed, right? So if you're not out there, how is someone going to know that you're even in the market or that you're even looking for a job? You got to put yourself out there. This is one of the reasons why we really encourage you to do LinkedIn, and why we require you to even just learn how to do it in this course, even if you just put up your profile just for the assignment, which is today, and taking it down. But we want you to know how to put it on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is the first free portfolio, virtual portfolio that we've ever had. Now, until they come up with something new, this is what we have. All right. So it's very, very, very important. If those stats don't tell you anything, it should tell you that people, if they don't have because obviously recruiters go through their profiles first, just like career services, which is technically a quasi recruiter for you guys that are at your campuses. What do you think is going to happen? And if they get a job, whose resume are they going to promote first? Let's just be honest. It's going to be the resumes they have on file. Is that not the case? Because every student, even though we tell you guys, hey, you should go see career services, you should go see career services as part of your tuition, it's their job to help you get connected. A lot of students don't go. Who's graduating after this class? I think it was quite a few of you guys. All right. Of those of you that are graduating, who knew career services before they started this class? Give me a thumbs up if you interacted with career services before starting this class. Very good. Very good. Right? If you are not connecting with career services, they're recruiters of sorts. Don't tell them I call them that. But you're doing yourself a disservice because if they have your resume on file, they're going to promote the people that they know. Now, after that, then they're going to go to the list and say, okay, who's graduating? Right? That's just common. That's just, human nature. Same thing with recruiters. They're going to take the files that they have, and then if they don't have any resumes, then they're going to go to Indeed, LinkedIn and other platforms like that. All right. Now, we also talked about, I think it was in week 1, this applicant tracking system. And what does that do? We already said when you're doing your resume, it's very, very important to tailor every single resume to the keywords that are in the job description. Because now, if you're not part of the networking game, you're not part of the recruiting game because you don't have your profile up, now you're just stuck with submitting your resume to the job and hoping for the best. And you got to go through the ATS system. You got to make sure that you pass the ATS test, which is the software application giving you a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Right? Not to say you can't get through it, but what's the least attractive of the 3? Which one's going to be the easiest? Probably the networking, right? Because now you have someone speaking on your behalf. The recruiting is the next best. You have your LinkedIn account. You don't know the person, but they're looking through your account. They run, and let me say this before I forget. What recruiters do on LinkedIn is whatever you have in your description, which we'll talk about in a minute on LinkedIn, they do searches based on those descriptions that you put in. So if you put in your description that you're a welder or a HVAC or a VA person, and with, basically I tell you to take that summary from your resume and plop it into your description for your LinkedIn, because they're going to run keyword searches, even the recruiters on LinkedIn, to look for keywords when they're looking for applicants. So that's another hint. Make sure your summary has those keywords if you're going to use a summary from your resume. But if you don't do the online, then obviously the least best option is to just take your chances with the job. And most of them are using this ATS system, over 75%. So that means the last of the great Mohicans is an HR person actually taking the time to look at your resume and decipher if you are qualified. What are the odds that you make it that far? You make it past whoever they networked, if they have any recruiting on LinkedIn, if you don't have the right keywords in your resume and someone actually just takes the time to read it to say, oh, this is a great candidate. You see how you're putting yourself at the bottom of the pile? So it doesn't make sense not to network, not to put yourself on LinkedIn, not to ensure that your resume has those keywords, right? It just puts you up higher in the chance of getting that job. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah? Thumbs up if you get it. I beat that horse. Okay, I'll move on. All right. So, where do we network? Well, we talked a little bit about social media platforms. Not sure if you guys have ever heard of Eventbrite, but this is a online networking tool. You guys have, yeah, it used to be really, really popular back in the day. I don't know if it's as popular now, but it's companies. It could be a company or association, whoever, that do these little events, and they send it via Eventbrite, and then you can go. It's just like an online whatever. But sometimes they'll do Eventbrite, and it will be an actual location. Um, Obviously, your existing network, your classroom, all your classmates. I don't know how many people are in your program, but I wouldn't just connect to people in my program. Like I said, I'd be connecting to everyone here, because there's a lot of crossover between the welding and the HVAC and electrical. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all work in construction in some sense, right? So there's a lot of crossover there. So I definitely would be doing that networking with everyone in those programs at my campus. Recruiters, which again, career services is one form of a recruiter. Professional associations, some of you know about them already. I'm sure your technical instructors should be talking to you about those. You know, Conferences, job fairs, alumni associations, LinkedIn groups, y'all get the point, right? So there's a lot of different places where you can network. You don't even have to make it so obvious with like, oh, I'm going to go out and network. Because I know some of you will say, well, the kind of job I have, I'm working 12 hours. I mean, some of you will be working those types of hours. Some of you may already be working those types of hours and you feel like you don't have time. Well, you can network on the job. Like, are you networking with the people that you know on your job? Are you networking, as much as you can with the clients that you're serving? Right? Every chance you get is an opportunity to network. Like I say, you have to promote yourself. You are the business. You are providing a service. Don't ever say I'm an employee. No, you are providing a service. And that's why you signed a contract. That company is paying you to provide a service, and your service is as good as you make it, right? So you need to be unique and you need to promote yourself and think of yourself in that way. So, what is chapter 5 talking about? Again, really digging into that networking and understanding how critical it is to your profession. So, what is professional networking? Like I said, it's not about social networking, that's different. It's about connecting with people for business reasons, right? Socially, oftentimes when we're younger, we can't choose our social networks. When we get a little older, we can choose our social networks. But the cool thing about professional networking is that you get to select who those people are and you don't have to have a personal relationship with them. We all see how networking happens in big business and we think that that's a big business trait, but it's really not. It's a career person's trait. Informational interviewing is one of the techniques, one of the networking techniques that we've taught you. That's why we wanted you to start to do it. How many of you, and I'm sorry I do all this thumbs up, is because the chat box doesn't work. So that's why we got to do all this thumbs up and thumbs down. I don't think they got that chat box working. Let's see. Let me see if I do hi. Did y'all see that hi? Probably not. Anybody saw me say tag? No, see. All right. So that's why I do the thumbs up, thumbs down. They have to fix that. Oh, you guys saw me say hi on the chat? Quentin, did you see me say hi on the chat? I wanted to know if you did. Does anybody see the chat box? No? All right. Anyway, go ahead, Lucas. Oh, you can see the chat box. Can you type in it? Livingston, do you have a question or are you just raising your hand that you can see the chat box? I'm getting confused.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I can't see the chat box. It's been a million times I tried to send a question to you,
In the
so
chat box?
yeah, we definitely, and then we won't be able to write in it if we did see it. So if I click
Yeah,
your
so it's
name
not, yeah, then it's
and
not
I
working.
want to send something to you, wait, hold
Hmm.
on. I can send something to you. Oh, I can send something. You gotta click the person's name. So yours is CT.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can bring up the
Send
chat.
something really quick. I want to see if I see it. For whatever reason, however they configured this Teams, the chat was not physically in the live classroom. It was just in the yeah, because I don't see anything. See, what's happening is the chat is going to a private chat outside the classroom. It's going, yeah, I don't see it. Did you
You didn't
post
see it?
something? Mm-mm.
I just sent something.
Yeah, it's not working. It's not working inside the classroom for whatever reason, but that's neither here nor there. That's why I'm sorry to, I know I don't want to like kill you guys with a thumbs up, thumbs down, but that's why I say I do that because normally people could just engage with me via chat, but for whatever reason they haven't fixed it yet. All right. Thank you for that, Livingston. I don't know why it's not working, but sorry. That's why you had got a hold of me, I guess. I don't see any chat. All right. So, what was I going to say? Give me a quick thumbs up if you felt like that informational interviewing was helpful. Hopefully, the person that you chose to speak to gave you some information that you didn't know before, or that you're like, oh, okay, or okay, maybe I need thanks. I'm glad. Well, first off, I'm glad you picked the right person to talk to. And secondly, hopefully they gave you some information to help you with your career plan, because that was really the point. And then lastly, we want you to see how easy it is to network. Now, of course, you know these people, right? But what are you doing? You're just chit chatting, you're just talking about it. And the cool thing is, let's say it is a family member or a neighbor, now your guys are kind of in the same industry. Isn't that cool? Like, I know it'd be cool if my next door neighbor was an HVAC guy and he's been talking to me about HVAC for all this time. Now I'm in the HVAC and I can go tell Mr. Rogers next door I'm in the HVAC program, and now we're chit-chatting about HVAC. I'm networking. That's networking, guys. You see how that goes? And then Mr. Rogers tells his person at his job, "Oh yeah, my neighbor just got, it's HVAC if you're looking for someone." And it goes on and on and on and on. That's all informational interviewing is networking. It's a reason to talk to someone. And people love to talk, not just teachers, okay? People love to give advice, do they not? People love to feel like they're helping, especially if they're using their knowledge. You'd be surprised. People love that stuff. So don't feel shy about asking for information, and I hope you guys continue to do that. Now, we do tell you that when you do your professional networking, my friends, please, please, please go ahead, Patience.
I was wondering, could I get the question of the day? I'm about to do my mock interview.
So you'll have to watch the video, or you'll just have to click on the video when you're done.
Oh, okay. So it'll still like the video will still be here for me to see the question
Yeah,
of the
all the
day.
videos, for the whole course. All you got to do is when you log in and you click, instead of clicking on live session, click on past videos and then just click on today, and you can scroll to the end and get the video question.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Miss
Yeah,
Taylor.
and
I'll
and,
see
ta-
you
and
guys later.
good luck, Patience. You can
Thank
always
you.
text me if you have problems. Okay, honey.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. All
Bye
right.
bye.
So, what was I talking about? I forgot. Yeah, I know I'm old. Okay. All right. So, one thing though, please do not connect with someone and then don't engage with them, because if you only are reaching out to people, and some people post more than others. We all got know those people, right? That could be you, that we post a lot and then other people rarely post at all. Do you know what I'm talking about? Well, just try to engage a little bit with people, because when you need them, you don't want you needing them being the first time you've engaged with them. Like, even in a professional sense, um, people don't like that. That comes across self-centered. So trust me, I have people in my network, they post every day, and I'm like, Lord have mercy. Anybody know somebody like that? I'll click and I'll give a response. And this professionally, they post every day some type of whatever. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. But I do click and I do like and then give a comment here and there, because I'm just staying connected to the person. That's my whole goal. Let me stay connected to this person in case I need to reach out to this person for something. I can keep that relationship going. Now, your networks will also evolve over time. You may start out with people in this, classroom or at your school being part of your initial network, but you're going to start a job. They're going to be part of your network. You may not have everybody part of your network at your job. That's okay. You may move to a different industry. Maybe you start out in commercial, then you go residential, then you go work for a government contractor. All those people will eventually become part of your network. As you move up, you may end up starting to meet with other people that are in senior management or people that have their own businesses. That's okay. So your network does evolve over time, right? There's nothing wrong with that. We know face to face networking, that comes and goes. It's not possible at, all the time, but, it is still a thing. Now, back in my day, we used to call it, happy hour. I don't know what they do. If they do, they even still call it that now? I don't know. Do they still do happy hour? Is that just a thing from the past? Oh, they still do. Okay, very good. I don't feel so bad. But, make sure that you come prepared when you are doing, networking, because at minimum, people are going to want to be able to exchange information. If
In here.
I'm going to put you on mute, unless you're Wayne said, I want to make sure you don't make a mistake and say something personal. Okay. All right. So we talked about business cards yesterday. We talked about professional etiquette. Hopefully everybody knows, like, listen, you texters, you know how y'all text with all these emojis and all this stuff, and TBH, what does that mean? To be to be honest, oh child, I was today years old. Okay. All that different type of stuff that you do, like, minimize that stuff when you're doing it professionally, right? When you're engaging with someone on LinkedIn, in social media, on a professional sense, try to minimize that stuff, guys, because not everybody understands what all that stuff means. And you want to be professional. So when they talk about networking etiquette, part of it is how you engage. Make sure you're using complete sentences and you're coming across professionally. Remember, you want them to know you as the professional, Brian, the professional Christian, not the social Brian or Christian. Make sense? All right. So just proper etiquette, right? Obviously, we know what proper etiquette is. Well, I'm assuming we know in person, but eye contact, avoid slang language, offering a business card, and two things that you may not know. Number one, when you are in person, don't hog a person's time. So if you're out doing professional networking, and you may have been a victim of this yourself, and someone just talks to you and they talk to you and they talk to you and they talk to you, that's considered rude in a professional environment. Because if someone's there to network, everyone's there to network. So don't, like, get comfortable with one person and hog all their time like it's some social thing, and you need comfort by, sticking with one person. When you're in a professional environment, it's actually considered rude to do that. Number two, eye contact. I've noticed this a lot about some people just have this weird thing with eye contact. Doesn't it irk anyone else when you go through drive through and the people won't look at you and drive through? Like, they hand you your bag looking the other way, or take your money looking the other way. They try to pretend like they're super, super busy that they can, and they just have this eye contact avoidance. Like it drives me nuts. And maybe that's just because of me professionally. I'm not sure what's happening. I think, yeah, I see Ron. Ron, are you okay? Anyway, um, yeah, give people eye contact, guys. Give people eye contact. Someone was in the chat. Sorry, that's why I was looking crazy. Someone just sent me something from the chat. Um, eye contact is a big, big thing in a professional environment. So if you're not comfortable giving eye contact, like please get comfortable with eye contact, because in America, and it is it, it does change based upon what country you're in. When I was in both South Korea and Ghana in Africa, especially in Africa, it's actually considered rude to give people eye contact. Did you guys know that? In America, it's considered deceptive to not give eye contact. So I had to learn that culturally, because in America, if you don't look me in the eye, then I think you're being dishonest. And it's such a big deal in America that you see it's even in the textbook. But that is a cultural thing. I do want to say that because I had to learn that just traveling abroad, that not all cultures find giving eye contact considered rude or not rude. Was anyone else aware of that? I don't know if any of you come from different background where eye contact is like, not supposed to look at your elders or whatever it's supposed to be. It's a sign of rudeness. But in America, it's a sign of professionalism. So that's something. All right. So we beat that horse. All right. We've talked about online networking and online netiquette. So we won't get into that. So like I said, today you are going to be doing your LinkedIn accounts. Make sure that you're doing at least the minimum. And once you walk through it, the assignment will walk you through it, but make sure you fill out your profile, which is your headline, which I said you can really copy and paste from your resume if you have that summary section at the top. Talk about your experience, your education, and your skills if you have it. All right. Yesterday we talked about Twitter, so I won't get into that, and y'all know how I feel about that. And we talked about Instagram. All right. Now, here's your question for the day. I'm going to make you an offer. How does the reputation of a company influence your decision on where you would like to be employed? I want you to answer that question. How does the reputation of a company influence your decision on where you would like to be employed? So if I were to say Walt Disney World, right now you guys have an image in your head. How would working at Walt Disney World influence your decision? Right now, if I were to say the federal government, for those of you that follow the news, you probably would have a different view of about working there, right? So, how does the reputation of the company influence your decision? The other question is, does their ethics have anything to do with whether you would apply or not? So let's say maybe for those of us in the VA program, you know, if they got some PETA violations, we may have an issue with that. You understand my point? Maybe um, if you're working in the electrical program or, any of the other trades, and this company is known for a lot of pollution, would that be an issue for you? If they've been in the news with some ethical practices that keeps them in court, would that be an issue for you? Some say no, so some say yes. You tell me. But how does the reputation of a company influence you? That's your question for the day. Any questions on that? All right. You do have your LinkedIn. I thought it was yesterday, but it's today. Your LinkedIn is today and your mock interview debrief. Now, don't be nervous if you haven't done your mock interview yet. That mock interview debrief, you have until Sunday to do it, right? Just make sure you do the debrief as soon as you're done. Trust me, because you're going to forget what happens and then you have to write up a debrief later. You may forget. So your LinkedIn profile and your mock interview debrief, if you've done your mock interview, is for today. All right, my friends, if you don't have any other questions, we're going to wrap it up here. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Thank you guys so much for participating.